go. Let's rock it. Woohoo! I love you too.
You're going to see me go into Schmitty mode.
That's all right, honey. I've seen it before.
What up, Jobins? Huge special episode today. The one I'm most excited about. The woman who birthed me. My mama. Mama Schmitty. Thank you for being on, Mom.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah. Isn't it cool and fun?
It is.
Yeah.
I want to give a shout out. What up, world? And the Jobins.
Jobins. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I want to brag about you for a second.
Aw.
Because I got to brag to the Jobins.
Okay.
I really was. I know a lot of people say it's kind of cliche.
I hope it's good.
But no, I was blessed with the best mom in the world. You know, I know when the Schmitty comes out as I grew up and got, older in time,
Mm-hmm.
the one thing that I've always felt in my heart about you is your superpower is that you're an author at heart. And you also have a published poem, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, which we'll talk about in a little bit.
One.
But the reason I say you're an author at heart is because you always truly know the right words to say, no matter my mood, no matter the situation. And as a kid, I know that was harder, but I know as I've gotten it as an adult, when I'm in the Schmitty comes out, you always say the right things that get me to stop and think. And no, I know a lot of people in the world, but no one talks like you. And I'm just blessed.
Oh, thank you, honey.
Yeah.
I'm so blessed too.
Yeah.
You know, while you were talking, I thought, well, that's kind of a superpower that I think God gives all moms.
Uh-huh.
You know, we just naturally want to guide you and calm you down and help you see and focus. But if I do that really well and you consider
I
that
think
one of
you
my
do.
superpowers,
Mm-hmm.
then woohoo! All right,
And
I
your
got something right.
And your endless love for everybody. You're the most loving person I know.
Oh, thanks, Sonny. You know
And
why? Because
yeah.
I got a lot of love
And-
growing up.
Yeah. And a lot of people would call me spoiled, but I call it blessed.
Yeah.
Because, I think when you're spoiled is when you're not grateful for things and you don't even care that you have what you have.
Exactly.
And I'm very grateful for everything you've done for me. in my
You
life.
have always been deeply grateful.
29 years. It's Monday, Jobins, the 17th.
Ugh.
I know you get a little sad when I bring it up. I get sad too. I'm nervous, but it's that weird mixture of there's so much excitement to go with it, but then there is so much nervousness and sad and scared, but it's just because it's the unknown. But Jobins, in 6 days, Schmitty leaves the nest for the first time.
Ooh.
And, a lot of people, I bet a lot of people would be even ashamed to say that they lived at their parents' house until they're 29. I am a little bit, unforeseen things have happened in the world. And I've just, again, because I know a lot of people in this fucking world. Ooh, I'm not going to cuss. That's the only cuss word you're going to hear during this podcast with Schmitty's mom. I'm sorry, Mom.
That's okay, honey.
But
Thank
there's
you.
a lot of people in this world who do not have the kind of mother that I've been grown up and have with, because they wouldn't have the opportunity to stay at home with the things that you've taken care of for me. You've taken care of everything for me. A lot of people live with their parents. I have friends that live with their parents, but they pay rent or they have to pay for something else, where it's like, and right now at the times I haven't had a job in a couple of years, you have supported me the most, and I'm just thankful for it.
You're welcome, honey.
Yeah,
And I get what you're saying, because there is a difference in being like a spoiled brat
Yeah.
and being spoiled in a good way.
Yeah.
And you have always been grateful. You have a big heart, and I see that in you. And along the way, you were still stepping up and showing me, I can do this, I can do that, learning and growing. And so for me, it was like, as long as you could do that,
Mm-hmm.
it was okay, because I knew eventually, you're going to fly the nest.
Yeah.
But we did have some extenuating circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when you were right about to do that, COVID hit.
Yep.
So I'm thanking
You
the
put a
Lord.
halt.
I'm actually thanking the Lord that you're here. And so that was a whole mess we didn't have to deal with. You
Yeah.
moving out of somewhere.
Yeah.
I'm a true believer, and everything happens for a reason.
That's been slapped in the face of me.
Yeah.
I've been slapped with that.
Right. And so when we do go out, It's going to be different, but I think it's going to be a super incredible growing experience for you.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to be able to take all those things that you've learned
Mm-hmm.
and now you're going to use them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be hard work and focus, but you've got all the tools.
Yep.
You've got the heart.
Yep.
You've got the joy.
Mm-hmm.
And more importantly, you've got our Lord
Yep.
leading your way.
And I got my friends and family that support me.
That's right.
And
And,
that's
we're going to
one thing.
support you.
Yeah.
And that means, you know, in this particular moment, we have to stand on the sidelines.
Yeah.
And for a mom who's always a
You're very
mama
protective.
bear,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm a mama bear.
Yeah.
You know that. You know this is hard
I
for
used
me
to
to
get
do.
mad, Jobins. I would get mad.
Right.
I'd be like, Mom, just calm down.
Yeah.
But you know what that did to me?
What?
Whenever I was doing something wrong, or if I knew that I was in a situation where I'm like, oh, my mom would be worried right now, I thought that. You know what I mean? And again, as a kid, every kid does that. Even you've done it. You know.
Yep.
You just don't tell your parents some of the things you do as a kid.
Right.
I've told you all now.
No need to incite unnecessary fear.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you just don't want your parents to worry, or you just don't
Right.
even want them to know. Yeah. But that was one thing that I would always be like, man. So you always made me think. You know what I mean? Where
Yeah.
I guarantee it, there's kids out there who wouldn't have that thought, and then maybe even something worse would happen. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because it always did kind of make me take a step back and think on, and then most of I'd be like, no, I'm gonna be fine, I'm be fine, and then I would be fine. You know?
Oh, trust me, honey, from your whole life.
Yeah.
But especially when you hit your teens and a whole new world opened up
yeah,
and we started
cars.
driving and
Yep.
all this other stuff. You didn't know it, but in my mind and in my heart,
Mhm.
I had to step back.
Yeah.
You didn't hear the conversation going on in my head going, this is where you step back, got to let baby bird fly.
Yeah.
And for a mama bear, that is one of the hardest things to do.
Yeah.
Because you want them to and you want them to succeed. And so you say, okay, you know, I know they're taking everything I've given them with them, you know, let's hope they get it right.
All the knowledge.
Because here's what it's always been about, and it always will be, your safety.
Yeah.
Your safety is first, always.
100%.
In your spirit, in your body, in your mind.
100%.
You know, anything else is a bonus for me.
Yep.
Okay, as long as you're safe, I'm okay.
Yep.
You know, I'm not going to worry because that's always been at the front of my mind. And then underneath that comes, you know, great health, joy, happiness, you know, passion, all that good stuff. But you have no idea how many times, you know, you're looking at me and I can tell you're already aggravated and irritated because
Oh,
here
yeah.
comes the
Oh,
mom
yeah.
speech,
You
right?
know my face. You
I know.
You
I'm
my
like,
face better than I
oh,
do.
crap. I don't want this to escalate. So, so here I am trying to be, oh, okay, I get it. But at the same time, I'm trying to be strong with myself,
Yeah.
and I'm still trying to make a point.
Yep.
Most of the time, I'd say those conversations went pretty well. When you,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
there were on occasion, rare occasion, where I had to kind of push back
Yeah.
because you were kind of giving me that teenage I know everything attitude.
Ooh, those
And
little
oh
shit years.
boy,
Those little Schmitty shit years.
that's right. And that's another
I
thing.
can still be like that, but now I take a step back. I'm like, oh well, wait a minute, look at this differently.
Right, because
Yeah.
that was another thing. You know me, I have zero tolerance for arrogance.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay?
It's annoying.
So when I would see you go there,
Mhm.
that would bother me because it's like, oh no, Lord, he can't go there.
Yeah.
Always be humble.
Yep.
Never think that you know everything
Right.
and you know so much that nobody can give you any good advice
Mhm.
or even the advice they're giving you for the 100th time.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want to be open to it. You don't want to hear it. You
Yeah.
know, I mean, when I was your age, yeah, I had things too that I kept from them just because I didn't want them to worry.
Yeah.
But I've said this more times than I could ever count. When I was younger and my grandparents, who were such a powerful voice and powerful presence in my life,
Mhm.
along with my parents and aunts and uncles and siblings, when they spoke and they had pearls of wisdom to share,
Mhm.
I was listening then
Yeah.
because I knew that they're telling me out of love.
Mhm.
It's not for them,
Mhm.
any more than it is for me now today for you, because I'm a grown woman.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my boundaries, my ethics, my morals are already intact.
Mm-hmm.
My lessons have been learned, even though I'm always learning more things.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
What I say in those moments is for you
Yeah.
and your betterment,
Right.
not me.
That's why it's like, and you learned that at a young age. So it's
I
like,
did. So as I got older, when these things would come up that they took the time
mm-hmm.
and had the love to share with me
Mm-hmm.
and teach me or encourage me with,
Mm-hmm.
those moments just rose to the surface right away
Yeah.
and were even more powerful.
Mm-hmm.
But I always wound up going, thank you,
Yeah.
because you loved me enough to teach me.
I wish I would have learned it more at a younger age, because it's like, man, how much more smarter would I be today? So I'm glad that I know these things today at this age.
I'm glad you do too.
Because we know people.
Right.
We know people who are older, and they don't think like that. you know?
Right.
So I am grateful, because that's another thing. When another one of your superpowers.
Ooh, I got another one?
Yeah. You got a lot. You got a lot. She's got a lot.
Oh my gosh.
Jobins. I know I'm swear to God, Jobins. I am the most.
He's speaking from love.
I truly think I'm one of the most blessed people to ever exist. Sometimes I'm like, what the fuck? You know what I mean?
Thank that guy up there.
I know. I'm like, what the fuck?
He's got the con.
But just like anyone who's had a really good life, we've also had a lot of sad things in our life. But
we have many challenges, many tragedies.
Adversity. You're the queen of it. But another superpower you have.
Wait a minute. Causing it or dealing with it?
Adversity.
Let's be clear.
No. Adversity?
Adversity. You mean as far as facing adversity?
Yeah, you overcome
Yes,
it.
I would say I've had to face a
cause it?
lot of
Can you explain to me
adversity.
what you?
But that
How
is
can you-
definitely a part of my soul's journey.
Oh, do you mean like you've caused someone else to go through
Oh,
it?
no. I'm saying that
'Cause
I
was like,
have.
How can you cause adversity?
No. I'm just
You stumped me.
saying things that happen in life naturally, which happen to all of us.
Yeah.
We experienced more of that in a much shorter amount of time.
Oh, yeah, especially me when I was young.
You know, example, attending 11 funerals in 3.5 years of very close family and friends who are extended family.
Yeah. How old was
is
I when
not
that started?
normal.
How old was I when that started?
Oh boy, well let's
6?
see. You were a month from being born when my dad passed,
Yep.
your grandpa.
Hardly
And
knew
boy,
my
was he hanging
grandparents.
on. He wanted to see you so bad.
Can I say your superpower?
Oh, he
quick?
would have. And you know, that makes me sad because I don't mean to ignore you, but I
Oh, no,
got
it's
to
okay.
finish this thought.
No, I know. I get
It makes me sad because I know what a wonderful grandfather and friend he would be to you. But he's watching over you from the other side. I'm sure of that too.
I've had a lot of weird.
Thanks, Dad.
I've had a lot of weird similarities with Grandpa.
Yep.
Um,
You had experiences when you were a baby that you didn't even know about that even blew your dad's mind because for a while he wasn't a believer. But then as these things happened, I remember
go ahead and tell the Jobins the story.
it was probably the third or fourth time, and he's yelling my name down the steps, Elizabeth. I can always tell when he's freaking out, right? And I come to the steps, and he tells me what happens, you know, that was freaky. And I finally, in my mind, I'm going, oh, thank you, Lord. Finally, he, you know, experiences enough to get with the program. But I just look up at him and go, welcome to my world.
You're something else. You're scary.
I'll tell you 2 good stories real quick.
Okay.
You were just an infant.
Uh-huh.
And, oh, gosh, I would say you were probably maybe 2 months old.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in your room, and I had you on the changing table, and I was changing you.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, you started, I'm standing up, so you're right here.
Mm-hmm.
And you're looking at me, but you're looking just past me, as if I'm looking at you now, but then all of a sudden I see there's someone right next to you. So I'm not looking at you anymore. My eyes are over here. And that's what you did. And then you started smiling. And then you started laughing. And I was talking to you, you know, like a mom would, you know, little baby.
Like a little baby.
And no
Little
matter
baby
what
Schmitty.
I said or did, I could not get your focus back on me.
Uh-huh.
And you just kept laughing. And then all of a sudden, when you went from looking next to me and you went like this, you kind of looked up and around, and then you stayed here for just a few seconds. And then all of a sudden, I got you back.
Uh-huh.
Your focus is back on me.
Yeah.
And I was thinking,
What'd you put in my milk?
who knows? One might think that.
Yeah.
But I was thinking in that moment, I'm like, what was that all about? Because I never saw you do that.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to keep in mind, you're an infant. I'm thinking about that. You can do all kinds of flippy stuff.
Yeah.
But then it hit me.
What?
My dad's spirit. And I believe in that moment, my dad's spirit was there.
What?
And that's what you were looking at.
What's the other story?
And I told your dad about that too. And of course, at that time, I think he just kind of let me humor myself, so to speak.
Uh-huh.
And it didn't bother me. I don't care. It's my belief.
Oh, no, yeah.
I didn't worry about what he thought. Well, then let's pan a couple of years down the road.
I wish I could remember it. So I can be like, yeah, Mom. You know what I mean?
But you're remembering it through me.
Yeah, true.
So you're receiving that experience through me.
Oh, yeah.
So
because I kind of remember this. I already know what the next story is, and I kind of remember it.
This is,
really.
let's see, you were about 3.5 years old.
Okay, no,
talking well enough that, we could understand you.
I thought you were going to talk about another story, but I already know what this one is too.
Yep. Grandma Billy was watching you when I went to work.
Uh-huh.
And I'd have the car in the garage, and put you in there and fired up the engine. And here you are. I had your car seat in the front seat, but I had it strapped in.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you're looking at the door very intently again.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm reaching around the seat like this,
Mm-hmm.
going, Ricky, what are you looking at?
Mm-hmm.
Again, I could not get you to turn around and pay attention to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I could see you from the side starting to grin.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then the grin becomes a smile, and then a few chuckles. And you got to keep in mind the whole time I'm going, Ricky, what are you looking at?
Mm-hmm.
Ricky, look at me.
Mm-hmm.
Look at mommy. All this stuff's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And I kept asking him that. And all of a sudden, without stopping looking at that door that led to the garage, I asked you again, what are you looking at? And he says, Grandpa in heaven, Mommy.
I'm 3 and I said this?
About 3.5, maybe closer to 4, but around there. You said, Grandpa in heaven, Mommy. I'll never forget that. Because
I don't remember that.
I just about lost it. In
cried?
fact, by the time we got to Grandma Billy's, I was in tears. But not trying to let you say, no, it's not you. Let me finish.
That's crazy.
The reason I knew that had to be was because when Grandpa was sick, and he was here, he would always wait for me to get home. And sometimes if it was nice, weather or nice temperature, he'd tell Ted, leave that door open,
And his bed was like where you could see it from.
Yeah. And then he'd see me pull into the driveway because he'd leave the garage door open too. And then I'd smile and wave, and he'd smile and wave. My dad, before he got sick, he used to call me every day on my car phone, every day when I was on my way home, just to check on me and see how I was doing, see how my day was. Couldn't have had a better earthly dad. I'll just tell you that. I know there's many dads out there just as good, but none better.
That's how I feel about you, me and my mom.
Thanks, honey. So, when you said that it didn't end there, because a few seconds later, you finished up and you said, Grandpa had to go now, Mommy.
Damn.
And I mean, these are things that these are moments you don't forget. Well, it did.
Like if
very
I had
much
a kid,
so.
If I had a kid one day and you were gone and that shit happened, like I'd pack up and move out because that would terrify the shit out of me. And I know you're a good spirit and everything, but that would just scare the shit out of me that my kid would say that, because I'd be like, oh my God.
Oh, it didn't scare me at all. I was tickled to death. In honesty, even though I cried, it was because I missed him so much.
Maybe that's how I'd feel too.
And
Just right now.
but I was happy for you because see, that was something that always weighs on me your whole life
Mm-hmm.
is that he wasn't here physically to have that bond that I knew you would have.
Mm-hmm.
You would have, the two of you would have had so much fun together,
Oh yeah.
along with so
It's
many
a
other
shame.
people, you
It's
know.
a shame.
But that's why, you know, I mean, I cry, but it's not all bad news because I was thankful that you did see him.
Yeah.
And there is kind of a funny part though, because I remember going, I would like to see you.
Yeah.
So I was gelling a little bit there,
Yeah.
you know, because I was like, okay, Dad, you can appear to me anytime now, you know.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be just Ricky.
Yeah. Or any dream. Well, you know, what I learned from all the death that we experienced and that I experienced at a young age, what that all taught me is just how much people in your lives matter to you.
Oh yeah,
Because when they're gone, they're gone. You know what I mean?
that's right. And
Yeah.
my dad was very much family. My whole family was.
Yeah. You have a very
Family is
interesting family.
everything. You know, you're always there for your family no matter
Yeah.
what. But there's also extended family
Yeah.
who are friends that you have the blessing of them coming into your world
Yeah.
and into your family. I always called them blessed bonuses,
Yeah.
you know, because you kind of are chosen by them
Mm-hmm.
and you get to choose them too.
Mm-hmm.
And when you make that connection, it's like, well, to me, there's no difference between, I'll use Aunt Donna as an example.
Mhm.
She's forever my sister.
Oh yeah. Like
You
Brenda.
know, we're not in the same family as far as birth and all that,
Yeah.
but
Like
I
me and
love
Brenda.
her. I love her dearly,
Yeah.
you know, and I have many others that I've been blessed to have like that,
Yep.
you know, and they bring such beautiful things into your life.
Yeah. That was another thing that you kind of taught me growing up because Dad always had his family and everything,
Hmm.
but you had your family, but then you had like I was always confused, and even
Sorry about that.
yeah, like me and it's okay. Funny story. Me and Houston, a buddy that I used to go to school with, who is related to Aunt Donna and Karen.
Hmm.
We always thought we were cousins because of all the family
Right.
stuff. So we're telling everyone in high school, yeah, he's my cousin. And then I think one year he found out that I wasn't his cousin, and it was just like the mood all changed.
Yeah. Well, that's too bad for him. I hope it didn't change for you.
Oh no, I love Houston to this day. Shout out Houston and the
Okay.
whole Rieger family. I love the whole. We still
Good.
love the whole Rieger family.
Yeah.
They're funny people.
Well, that's why, you know, I always, right out of the gate, it's
Yeah.
like, as you became to know them, you know,
Yeah.
immediately it was Aunt Donna, Aunt
Uncle
Karen.
Tom. Oh,
Yep,
Aunt
Uncle
Karen,
Tom,
Uncle
Aunt
Tom was
Sharon, Aunt
hilarious.
Debbie,
Yeah.
Aunt Martha,
yeah.
you know,
Oh yeah.
uh,
Shout out the whole
Uncle
family.
Adam.
Boom. Shout out the whole family.
Yeah.
About to pour one out right here, right now.
Mama Billy. And
Oh, yeah.
oh my gosh, was she crazy about you?
But
She's crazy about all her
I
grandbabies.
want to bring it back to your dad's stories with the kind of ghost stuff, because
Ooh.
because it wasn't all fun and games like that. Because the one I remember that I want you to tell, the story I want you to tell, is when I was jumping on the bed with the cable in your hand. Jobins, I'm sorry to bring it up. Sadly, my grandpa, he did pass away in this house, so like that's why we've just had a lot of encounters. Now, I'm not saying this was grandpa because I remember when I was a kid, the thank you, by the way, because I'm going off topic. A lot of parents don't let their kids watch anything they want. You would keep me, you know, as I was getting older, then you would allow me to start watching, you know,
certain things,
certain
yeah.
things. But there was a lot of movies that were rated R and stuff that you'd allowed me to watch with you. Or, you know, my first favorite movie was Titanic, and that's like a crazy action movie.
Right.
You know
Well,
what I mean?
it wasn't like a porno, so I mean, it was well
Yeah.
done, so
Oh,
it was
yeah.
okay.
Oh yeah, and well, you were the mom that if any boob scene came up,
Oh yeah.
you'd cover my hands. But I think that's a faulty thing to do because maybe now I love boobs more than ever. You never know. So
I think that's just
I
a man thing.
I might experiment with my kids. I'm like, does this affect them?
Yeah.
No, because I thank God you let me watch movies as a kid because they've taught. I'm gonna have this debate with Tim one day because he doesn't view movies like books.
Mhm.
And I know a lot of people don't. But I view books and movies very similar. They're different, obviously, but
Right.
there are so many similar things. You can learn so much from movies.
Oh yeah, but
Yeah.
but also I still always encouraged you to read
Yeah.
because there's nothing like curling up with a good
Yeah,
book.
and you always taught me, obviously, what was, like, not real and real. The difference between. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's an important thing when you let kids watch movies. Because I was a scaredy cat when I was a kid,
Yeah.
but I fueled on it. I was like, oh, but I want to. I'm so scared to watch it, but I want to watch it.
I
Like,
know you made it really hard for me
I know.
because you would, when I said no,
Yeah.
that one's a little too rough, you would
Yeah.
get upset.
I'd be like, no, I can do like 13 Ghosts. You didn't want to take me to go see it in theaters.
Yeah.
And I was like, Mom, I can handle it, okay? And and then when we watched it on DVD, or no, probably VHS, that movie scared the shit out of me. Like I was sleeping with like my pillow overhead for a while. Like
Right.
Yeah.
I didn't want you to have
Yeah.
nightmares. I
But
didn't want you to freak out.
I think I needed to go through that. You need to go through that because I
Well,
can't
to an
find
extent, but
Yeah.
there were a lot of movies at that time, and some of them, I consider like hack 'em up gore
Well-
that just isn't even entertainment to me.
I remember seeing The Exorcist and It at a very young age, and those two movies scarred me. But it was okay because I was like, oh my god, that's crazy.
Well,
But-
we all have our moments. I mean,
Yeah.
I saw things too,
Yeah.
but I will say this, Grandma Dorothy.
Uh-huh.
I liked horror movies when I was young too,
Mm-hmm.
but I like the kind where you don't necessarily see the monster right away.
Mm-hmm.
It really builds up and it gets you scared in a lot of other ways.
Yeah.
It's not people getting hacked up and chopped up.
Yeah.
Somebody put some real thought into it.
Yeah. I'm not a big chop up. That's a whole genre itself of the gore.
Yeah.
I forget like something.
Gore, I think, is a good term.
It's something. Gore.
Right. But my
butchered.
mom and I were both into, like the classic
Psycho.
vampire. Yeah, things like that.
Even though that was kind of.
And then,
but
yeah,
Not really.
outside of, Bela Lugosi and Lon Chaney, of
Birds.
course, in our day, were the monsters. We liked those supernatural ones where you're really not sure right away what's going on.
Oh,
Is
yeah.
it real?
The
Could it be
thrillers.
real?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I kind of had to watch that with you when you were younger.
Yeah.
But as you got older, it sometimes it came down to, oh gosh, do I really want to do this battle with him? I
Yeah.
mean, he wants to see it so bad.
Yeah.
But then I would
A
watch it
battle
with you.
Schmitty. That's just how I was. I'm sorry that I did that.
That's okay. Like I said, we
was-
all had our little stinker parts
I
about
know.
us,
But I was like,
and that's okay. But
Mm.
that's why I would watch it with you, because that way, at least I'm there to see if it gets too
Yeah.
out of control. I can do something about it.
oh yeah,
But I'll say overall, you handled it pretty well.
oh yeah,
I don't remember any time where you woke up screaming,
oh no,
"A monster's going to get me."
oh no,
And so, well, some kids get traumatized like that, and
Yeah.
then they drive their parents nuts because they're waking up terrified,
yeah.
And I didn't want you to be afraid. You always liked your room.
I was always afraid of the dark, so I handled that with a TV.
Yeah.
So and then I'd be watching the same movie every night or the same episode of Friends, and that's how.
It's funny though,
But-
when you were young, I would say 5 and younger, you loved being in the dark.
Really?
Because I would take you in and you would go pick out the books that you wanted me to read.
Mm-hmm.
And that would get funny sometimes too, because you'd pick out like 11, 12 books. And I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to put him to bed. He doesn't realize we don't have time for that many books. But he'll get it,
Yeah.
So we'd start, and sure enough, 2, 3 in, you're
Uh-huh.
ready. But you were so funny because I told your dad, I said, I think there's a little of my grandfather in there, a little bit of pop. And because you'd get in your bed, I had a little car bed for
Blue
you
car
at that
bed, I
time.
remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you'd be ready to go to sleep
Uh-huh.
and we'd say goodnight and everything. But if I was like taking too long,
Uh-huh.
you would just point to the door. and not even look at me.
Uh-huh.
You just point to the door like it's time for you to leave.
I got
I
my
said, if
books
that
to
ain't
read.
Ray, I don't know what is.
That's funny.
Oh, I would laugh so hard. Your dad would laugh at that
Well,
too.
obviously, it was probably the movie The Exorcist that completely stopped that from happening.
Yeah.
Because we went way off topic. We're going back to the topic. Because we saw the movie Exorcist, and then they played with the Ouija board in the house.
Yeah, that wasn't good.
And then shit actually started happening, Jobins. Tell the story with the cord in the hand and the TV. Do you remember what you remember? Like how I remember?
Oh, but you know what? That was before. That was before the Ouija board.
That was before the Ouija
Yeah,
board?
you're thinking of the other story with the
Sis?
crinkling and the voice
Yeah.
and sis down here.
Oh, yeah.
No, the part with the cord again, I believe, and I think Christina does too.
Because that one, I remember this one, Jobins. I remember it to this day. Go ahead.
I think Christina, if you asked her to this day, she'd say, "Oh yeah, that was definitely Grandpa," because it was so funny. I'm getting you settled down for the night to get ready for bed,
Mm-hmm.
and we're in my room, and then something came up with the TV, and it just had static.
Mm-hmm.
So I was trying to just get a picture on it,
Mm-hmm.
and Sis was in there because she had tried something. So I'm doing it now, but she's still there standing by me.
And these are the TVs are the old box TVs.
Yeah. And the whole time, this is what's really funny because we were so into trying to get it to work.
Mm-hmm. Back with the antennas, the
Yeah.
metal antennas.
Well, it wasn't even that. I didn't need that. It was like on a channel. It said 56, and we couldn't get the channel to change,
mm-hmm.
either with the remote
Mm-hmm.
or doing it on the TV itself.
And it's
'cause
just going.
right. It's got the white and gray static,
Yeah.
but you could see the number 56.
In green.
In green. There you go. But the thing, I'm going to jump ahead here for just a second, because the thing that really got me, and it was good because it did make Sis cry, but not in a bad way. It was because she realized, you know, oh my gosh, you know, that really happened.
Mm-hmm.
And she missed Grandpa too.
Mm-hmm.
So,
How old was Sis when Grandpa died?
oh gosh, she was probably 7.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, 7.
God, Sis.
I had to think there for a minute. Ooh, early senior moment.
That's okay.
But anyway, what was funny was when, you know, I got done hugging her and comforting her, we look back at you because we'd finally regained some composure there. And here you are just happily bouncing on the bed doing your own thing. It was like,
I remember I was just fucking.
and part of me was going, oh, thank you, Lord, that he really didn't have a clue as to what was going on over here. Or at that point, I didn't think you did at that time.
It was storming. Wasn't it?
You know, I don't remember a storm.
I remember a storm because that's why I remember being excited because I liked thunder. I've always liked thunderstorms.
Okay, we're going to go with your memory.
Yeah.
But I do remember distinctly what the issue was. And then I said, eventually, after we kept messing with it, both on the TV and the remote, and I'm like, this is crazy that I can't change this channel. So I said, okay, sis, something's probably ganked up. Because it was a TV that had just leaped into start using new technology. You know, I said, I'm going to unplug it and that'll reset it. And then I'll plug it back in. So that's what I did. I pulled the plug and I said, okay, we'll wait for a few seconds. But the screen never went blank.
Yep.
It stayed just the way it was with the static and the 56 in the corner. And then I remember checking. I'm like, did I get the right cord?
Yeah.
Well, it was the only cord, first of all, that was going into that outlet. And then when I traced from the TV, that was definitely the cord. And so I'm standing there holding it, and Sis is right there looking at it.
And that's when I stopped.
I look at the number, and I'm like, I told her, I said, well, it might take a few minutes for the electricity to die down, and then that screen will go out, you know. And so we're kind of waiting for that. And then all of a sudden, while we're waiting, it dawned on me. I said, oh my gosh, Dad was 56 when he passed. He's trying to tell me that he's here, that he's checking in on us, you know.
What do you? That's
And,
weird, Jobins. What do you think about that?
you know, and I just remember Christina at that point having a lot of my focus because she's like, "What's going on? What do you think it is?" And I thought it was going to make her happy because I
Uh-huh.
knew how much she missed him.
But she got
And I
sad.
said, "Sis, I think it's Grandpa just trying to tell us he's with us."
Uh huh.
And she instantly got it because she's an old soul. We
Ooh.
always called Christina an old soul because when
Uh-huh.
she was very, very young, she knew things that at her age were
Mhm.
not normal knowledge.
Did I laugh at her
What do you mean?
when she started crying? Did I laugh at her?
Oh, no.
Are you sure?
No, I don't.
Because I'm
No.
kind of remember laughing.
No, I think you
Yeah,
laughed
why
when
you-
we laughed,
Yeah.
when we turned around and looked at you because I was hugging her when she started to cry. She
Uh-huh.
started to cry after I said that.
Uh-huh.
And then I was like, "Oh no, honey, this is a good thing. You know, Grandpa loves you and he checks in on you. He would never hurt you.
Yeah.
You know, he's just trying to tell us, hey, you know, I'm with you."
Uh-huh.
And when I finally got her, you know, calmed down and comforted,
Mhm.
we both look over at you and here you are, bing, bing.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And so that made us laugh.
Uh-huh.
And that made everything better. But of course, you know, I made sure she was okay. And I consider that a cool moment.
I think my memory is coming a little back to me because I remember jumping, and I can still see you holding the cord, and it limped over. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And you were freaking out. You guys were freaking out, and that's when I remember stopping, looking at you guys.
Well, it was a little freaky.
Yeah, and that's when I remember just stopped looking at you guys, and I'm going, "What the fuck?" And I'm like, "Oh, damn, I cussed again." I'm going, "What the heck?" And that's when I think I was like, "Oh no, you guys are," because I think I remember hearing you guys talking, saying it was Grandpa,
Hmm.
and I think I just thought you guys were crazy, and that's probably when I just went back to jumping around.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably how that went.
Yeah, so that was a good moment
That-
because it helped Sis too. It helped
Yeah.
to make her laugh
That's interesting though.
and see. But
Yeah.
well, I'll tell you what, it blew my mind because I mean, I'm looking at it from a technical perspective
Yeah.
of thinking about the components and what the heck could be causing this. This thing doesn't have a battery backup. You know, it's
Just a old
nothing
school
like that.
90s fucking
This is
looking
all
TV.
scrolling through my mind, you know, while I'm holding a cord and looking at a screen that says 56.
Yeah.
And then I guess the Lord, you know, finally said, "Hey, eat. Hello."
Yep.
And then all of a sudden it just popped in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, that's Dad's age when he passed.
That's crazy.
So then it started to make sense to me.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. But, oh, I got some stories, honey.
Oh yeah. Well, the one thing that we talked about earlier that we didn't talk about, the common things that I have with Grandpa, and one cool thing that I always thought was cool with Grandpa was how he was friends with Jack Buck.
That was your great grandfather.
Oh, that was my great grandpa.
Yeah, that was Ray.
Jeff, I don't even know my own shit. That
Yeah.
was great grandpa.
Right. Well, he was real good friends with Charlie Jones.
Mm-hmm.
And Charlie Jones was one of the field announcers for the Cardinals.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's how he got to meet everybody.
Yeah, that's
And,
crazy.
oh, it was cool.
Yeah.
He had boxes of
Mhm.
autographed baseballs
Yeah, see, that's just
from the
crazy.
Cardinals back in the day.
Yeah.
I mean, Pop was, again, I know there's some fantastic Cardinal fans here, and I
Mhm.
love them all,
Mm-hmm.
but none more dedicated than your great grandfather.
Great grandpa?
Yeah.
Wow.
Ray Seiberg.
Man, I don't know why I was thinking grandpa. That's cool it was great grandpa.
Oh, he loved it.
And I'm friends with Sean, so when I found that out, I was like, whoa, that's kind of weird.
Yeah. Well, I give him credit first
Mm-hmm.
because I learned about them from him when I was very young.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes he would let me go with him to pick up Grandma,
Mm-hmm.
and I'd be all excited. Well, he'd always bring this one radio, his radio with him that
Mhm.
was on, you know, batteries in the
Mhm.
car when the Cardinal games were on, if they were on when we were going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So I heard Jack Buck's voice long before I ever saw his face.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which
Mhm.
was kind of cool because when I look back at it, I thought, oh my gosh, all those years I heard his voice,
Mm-hmm.
but I never saw his face.
Mhm.
So when I saw his face for the first time and heard his voice, I knew immediately who it was,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But I credit my grandfather, and my dad too for my love of the Cardinals and baseball.
Mm.
I love me some baseball.
We always have been. St. Louis has always been one of the biggest baseball cities. So
Yeah.
we were blessed to live here with that. Cardinals have always been fun.
Yeah.
Lots of games we went to. I still remember when I was a kid when we went to the OG building, or not the OG, but was it the second one? Second stadium that was ever built? How many stadiums have there been for the Cardinals?
Oh, only two.
Only two?
The
I was
original
thinking
Busch
3.
Stadium.
Oh, so it was the OG
Oh, yeah.
that we went to.
Yeah.
Where, what's his name, hit that grand slam. That was cool.
Yeah,
I
Busch
forget his
Stadium.
name.
Now,
was a kid.
you might be thinking of when they were the St. Louis Browns before they became the Cardinals. They played at a different location. But when they were the Cardinals, they started at Busch Stadium. Yeah, I loved Busch Stadium.
Yeah.
That was a sad day for me to see that go away. And I always wished that the architects who built the new one, because don't misunderstand me, I like the new one, and in time these things have to happen. But you know where they have it open and you can see the arch? I think what would have been really cool is if they had left at least one section, at the top how it had the arches. If they had left just one, maybe even 3, but at least one section of that original stadium.
That would have been cool.
I think that would have been a really nice touch.
Yeah, that would have been
sort
cool.
of like
a remembrance. A little token.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That would have been cool.
Because under those arches, under Busch Stadium, so much great Cardinal history occurred.
Yeah.
So many wins.
And it's gone. There's
So
gotta be pieces
many.
of it somewhere in a museum somewhere.
So much excitement.
Yeah.
That because it was the original, it's like, to me, it was worthy to keep a part of it there.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, I mean, I'm not an architect, but
You
I
were?
sure would have liked to have seen that.
One thing that you was a really good artist.
Back in the day.
Yeah.
I'm a bit rusty now.
It's weird because that's one thing I have in common with you, because when I was a kid, I always just loved to draw and stuff. And
I know, and I loved that.
Yeah, which is cool. Because and then when I found out because you went to college for it, right? Or you got
I did. I won a scholarship for that.
Yeah.
Much to my own surprise, because I saw the competition.
Well, no, I've seen, one thing I always do want to have is that book you have of all your drawings.
You know, it's funny you bring that up, because I'm going to give that to you.
Yeah, I would love that.
I am going to give that to you.
Yeah, that'd be badass.
I saw creativity in you when you were very young.
Yeah. Well,
and
thank
boy,
you.
was
Thank
that...
you for giving me it.
I was
need
so
more.
happy.
I need more. I need to learn.
Well, I just passed it on, honey, because it came from my mom and my dad and my grandparents. I can tell you that because Grandma Dorothy, she was a good artist.
Really?
And she used to do paintings and drawings, and she was damn good at it.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Do you have any of Grandma's paintings?
Well, there was one that I told her, I said, if you ever, let go of that, I'd really like that. She did this one of the bust of Cleopatra in a painting that was really, really good. But I believe Kathleen has it now, and that's okay. It's okay. But it's not only her. My dad was also good at drawing.
Wow.
Yeah, so
that's definitely in your blood.
And oh my gosh,
for you to get a scholarship,
and our
that's
grandparents were so talented in so many ways.
Yeah.
Pop and Grandma, they were so talented. So it all flowed from them through to us. And I'll tell you what, Uncle Richard, he definitely got it, because that man had more talent and skills in one body than I've ever known in my life.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, I would even tell him, I don't think there's anything you can't do or figure out.
Yeah, Uncle Ricky, who I was named after.
That's right.
Yeah.
Because I loved him. He was in body form and in family. And I'm blessed because I love my family and they're all unique. And I could, if God said pick one best friend, I'd say, but
man,
Lord,
that'd be
you know
too
that I
hard.
can't do that because I
Can't do
love
that.
them all.
Yeah.
But I'm going to say with Richard, being my big brother, he was the oldest. He was my champion.
Oh yeah.
He was just this soul that I'll just say this. I know he walks with our Lord now because everything he did was with pure intention.
Yep.
And not one time in his whole life did I ever hear that man complain.
Yep.
And
like with my Uncle John.
And it's not like he didn't have reasons, plenty of them. And I would say most of that, not even his doing. But he was the guy who was always jumping in to take care of it, jumping in to help, jumping in to fix it, jumping in to empower you, encourage you, take away a fear, take away a worry. And no matter what he contended with, not one time did I ever hear that man complain. Legend. And I tell you what, through the years, I'd always say, you know, I kept telling him, I said, it's not because you're my brother, okay? If I just met you along the way and got to know you, I'd say the same thing. I'm like, you're one of the purest souls I know, you know?
That's how I feel about you.
Because you do things expecting nothing in return but to give to someone else, to remove a fear or a worry, to give them whatever that need may be, whether it's money, whatever it is, okay? Well, you know, he just smiled, you know, because he was a very humble soul too. But I remember at his funeral, one of his really close friends came up to me and said, I know a lot of people in my life, and I've known a lot of people in my life. But your brother was the only person I know who was pure all the way through.
There we go.
Whew. And I just remember thinking, sorry, it'll pass.
I know.
I just remember thinking, did you hear that, Rick? It's not just me, not just because I'm your sister who loves you. Someone else saw that in you.
Yeah.
And it was an honor to name you.
I'm sorry that I made you feel like this.
Oh, no, you didn't. No, honey, you didn't make me feel like anything. This is a side effect and comes with it.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that now because you know what? It's all about love.
Yeah.
And I love him, and I was loved by him. So these are tears of love and joy.
Okay.
And like I said, it'll pass.
All right.
We just ignore it and let it go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yep.
And we're back.
There we go.
Woo!
Yeah, we only got a couple more minutes, and I did want to talk about with me leaving. You got any advice? Because how old were you when you left the home?
Oh, gosh. You always make me think these time things, and you know I'm no good with time anymore.
Yeah,
I used to be, but now I'm like, what, 5 years behind?
Yeah.
I had you, though, to bring me back.
Yeah.
So I might have to call you and go, what year is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
wait a minute.
okay.
I'm sorry. Advice? Oh, honey, I got lots of advice. But I think what I want to say first is that I know you're going to take all the good, all the lessons with you. I know you have such a big heart, and I saw that in you early on. And I'm so proud of you and the soul that you are, and the things that you're learning and the things that you have realized that are important to you. And I've always said to you kids, find your passion and you'll never work a day in your life.
Yep.
And you know what? That doesn't mean just one thing either. We can be passionate about all kinds of things. But as we try them out, as far as a career goes, okay, yeah, you do kind of want to find that thing that you get up in the morning and you're excited to go do it. Yeah, it's hard work, but you know what? It doesn't seem like it because you're excited to go do it. And I always said, getting paid, that's just a blessed bonus.
Yeah.
You know, so I encourage you to always, you know, go with your passion. Doesn't mean there's not going to be hard days. It doesn't mean that there's not going to be days where you go, oh my gosh, you know, maybe this is getting too hard. Maybe I'm overwhelmed. Am I doing the right thing? If your passion is still there, just remember that's just one little fleeting moment, and we all have them.
Yeah.
And sometimes you got to step back and regroup.
Mm-hmm.
So always keep that in the front of your mind.
Yeah.
You know, I'm so happy that you have this opportunity.
Yeah.
You don't have enough time for me to share
I'm
my
running out of time.
gratitude about Sean
Mhm.
and what a humble, amazing soul that young man is,
real.
because I've watched from the sidelines for a while, right?
Mm-hmm.
With all that you've done and learned, and as you guys have developed a relationship, and with Tim and the other Jobins,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I just, as a mother and a mama bear,
Mm-hmm.
I could not be more grateful
Yeah.
for the souls that you're going to be around, because I know these are great souls. I mean, that's such a blessing right there.
Mm-hmm.
You keep that in you too, and I know you know this, but when you have people who like to lift others up
Mm-hmm.
and encourage and empower others,
Mm-hmm.
and you like to do that too,
Yeah.
how can you lose?
Right.
And remember those words that I shared with you,
Yeah.
and I've said it through the years
Mm-hmm.
to all you kids,
Yeah.
that Uncle Ricky said to me that I never forgot, and I
Right.
use it to this day.
Mm-hmm.
Take the best, leave the rest.
There we
In
go.
any situation, any happening, any event. You said it so yourself yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
You said, you know, I do realize it, and I'm getting better, and this is a good thing, that even in a heated moment, or someone smarts off and says something ugly,
Mm-hmm.
you know, to take that moment to step back and think
Mm-hmm.
before I speak,
Mm-hmm.
because words are so powerful.
They are.
And if everybody truly realized that,
Mm-hmm.
I'm thankful for the souls that do.
Yeah.
But if everybody truly realized that, there's so much ugliness that would not take place in this world,
Right.
because they would step back and see, no, it's not worth it. No, it doesn't warrant that. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Amen.
Yeah. So,
I'm really sorry we got to end, or it's gonna cut.
oh,
cut
I'm
out.
sorry,
Oh, no,
honey.
it's okay. No,
I
just
love
feel-
you, and
I
thank
love
you
you
so
too.
much.
Yeah.
And you know I'm with you in spirit.
Yep.
And I'm your number one fan, and I love all the guys, and I couldn't be more excited for all of you.
Let's go. I appreciate that.
You go, baby.
Yep. And
You got this.
Thank you for being on my pod. I really.
You're
appreciate
welcome,
it.
honey. Thank
Yep.
you for having me.
Thank you for watching, Jobins. One
Thank
love.
you.
Yep.
Thank you, Jobins.
Deuces. There we go.
Oh, wow. That went too fast.